Hello and welcome to the show. I am Mr. Adolf the Here is the green board. So on the green board, we'll be doing what's almost a book review as usual. This time, I just want to take a little glimpse at what Olusegun Obasanjo, the former president of Nigeria, did about his life on print. So before we meet the guest on the show, we'll be doing a preface to the topic, which says, speaking with a mathematics teacher. Then we'll have the mathematics teacher who's going to be on the studio to discuss what is going on with the mathematics subjects in the Nigerian education system before we do the grading and assignment. So before we move on, let's see the latest happening in Nigerian education. LASU, that is Lagos State University, with the spokesperson Ademola Adekoya saying that the school has not planned or have any intention of increasing the tuition fee. So any news circulating on social media or in any other space saying that the school has planned to increase the tuition fee is completely false. No one should follow that news. If subsequently the school is going to do that, proper information will be released to the public concerning that. So that is it with the Nigerian education system news. Right now, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be doing almost a book review. And don't forget, it's Olusegun Obasanjo's piece. Welcome back. Olusegun Obasanjo has been military head of state in Nigeria, and from 2009 he became democratic ruler in Nigeria. But he wrote a memoir, wonderful memoir, and I can understand that there had been pieces of biographies that he had compiled in the previous moments behind. But this time, he began this book with his early life in the military, then to the present time where he became the president of Nigeria. So the book divided into 3 volumes, book 1, book 2, book 3, spectacular. I just picked the book today, the book 1. So next time I'm going to be reviewing proper the book 1 of My Watch. My Watch is the book memoir by Olusegun Obasanjo, former Nigerian president. So this is the issue at hand. Mathematics in Nigerian education system. Is it succeeding or is it dwindling? With me on the studio right now is Modu Olaguro. He is a PhD student, also a teacher. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Let's begin with the fact that you are a teacher.
Yes,
a trained teacher in mathematics.
Of course.
So while you were being trained in your first degree in the University of Lagos, right?
Of course, you're correct.
What would you make of mathematics, the mathematics survival in the Nigerian education?
Well, let me start on a good note, because we just have to keep encouraging everyone not to lose hope. Mathematics as a subject is a very important one. It is the bedrock of science and technology, all right? It is the language of science. That makes it very crucial to the development of any nation, or in fact, any individual. Presently, the state of mathematics in Nigeria is very, very poor. If we go through the ages, if we come through the performance of students...
Sorry to cut you short. You said the state of mathematics in Nigeria presently is very, very poor.
Yeah.
But then there are reports of Nigerian students who have thrived in other countries in mathematics, in fact, who had won several competitions in mathematics and other sciences.
Yep.
So how would you say that the mathematics in Nigerian education system is very, very poor?
Okay, fine. Let me come in through this angle. When I say the state of mathematics in Nigeria is very, very poor, that does not mean there are no pockets of students here or there doing great things, or teachers doing great things.
Okay.
Let me come in through this lens once again. When you mention performance or achievement of students in mathematics,
All right.
you have to consider how they've been able to utilize mathematics within the subject itself, and how they've been able to transfer the learning to other areas in biology, in physics, in chemistry, in agric, and in fact, in commerce and probably accounts. Because mathematics cuts across, different subjects, its application. If you consider the performance of students in WAEC, if we start from there, although I don't like going along that line because it is one of the dubious ways we like, praising ourselves, while although we've not actually made a whole lot of improvements. Because if you look at the corruption in the system, the malpractice...
In what system in particular?
In the education system, the examination malpractice, you find out that the WAEC statistics or the NECO statistics, as the case may be, might not be the true state of the mathematics sector, if I can use that word, in Nigeria. Let us consider the gains that students have been having in mathematics. Let's start from the aims and objectives of teaching mathematics at the primary school.
All right.
The aims of teaching mathematics at the junior secondary school. The aims of teaching mathematics at the senior secondary school. Let me start from the primary school. The aim of teaching one of the aims and objectives of teaching mathematics at the primary school is to instill permanent literacy and numeracy. All right? Because mathematics is a language, so using literacy is not out of place. To help them develop computational skills, the ability to compute. That is why they teach you the times table. To help you think at the GSS level up to the secondary school level, to help you develop abstract thinking. You have to know how to think abstractly. That is why we teach you algebra in mathematics, where you use X, where you use Y. X could be anything. Those are abstract thought processes.
And then I remember probability.
Probability theory. In fact, you are now going to the application, right? Because, the aim of the universal basic education,
Yes.
the major aim, rests on 3 pillars. One of it is that, of course, that actually brings us to the 934 system, where you're supposed to have 9 years uninterrupted basic education. So what is compulsory for you legally, constitutionally, as a Nigerian, is the 9 years basic education. So at GSS 3, you have a number of options. One, you could proceed to the senior secondary school.
You could
Proceed, if you wish, by choice, to the senior secondary school. The second one is that you could go into profession, into vocation and the likes. And, of course, you could also go into trade. That is why we call it the universal basic. It is the education that you need to fit into this present world. It is not, you don't have to go to secondary school, not to mention university.
Let me bring you back to where you said mathematics is the language of different disciplines or different subjects.
The language of science.
Is it the language of science in particular?
Yeah, it is the language of science.
Why is that so?
It is the language of science the same way English is the language of we are communicating with. Without mathematics, how do you cope in physics? That is what you use. Without mathematics, how do you cope in biology? There's a branch of mathematics called phytology, which the biologists use in studying the patterns of leaves.
Okay.
Right? Of course, that has roots in sequences and series. You have how about computer sciences? Where you need your real analysis, your knowledge of complex analysis and the likes. And when you talk about real analysis and complex analysis, you still have to go back to your knowledge of sequences and series you've been learning since GSS 3. So the problem we are having, from the question you asked at first, that what is the state of mathematics in Nigeria? I told you that it is very, very poor. One, based on my experience as a teacher in secondary school, and presently I teach in a university, and I can tell you that the bulk of the problems students are having, even beyond students of mathematics or mathematics education, is the poor foundation they've got at the primary, at the junior secondary, and at the secondary level.
Okay, let me take you to the secondary school, the four walls of the secondary school.
Yeah.
Sometimes shortage of staff or some of the problems linked to that could make some proprietors or proprietresses, administrators of a school to say, physics teacher can handle mathematics, go into the class and teach the children mathematics. You said mathematics is the language of sciences. Physics is science. Can't physics, chemistry teacher teach mathematics confidently?
Okay, you've asked a very good, a very relevant question. I'm going to tackle this question in two ways.
All right.
First, who is a mathematics teacher? Who is a mathematics teacher?
You're a mathematics teacher.
Of course, I'm a
Tell
maths
me.
teacher. So I'm going to tell you. A mathematics teacher is an individual that knows the mathematical content and knows the mathematical pedagogy.
What does that mean?
Pedagogy is the art and science of teaching. So those are the two criteria. First, you must have, if you are teaching at the primary level, you must have at least a Nigeria certificate in education, of education.
All right.
If you are teaching at the secondary level, you should have at least a Bachelor of Education, a Bachelor of Science education in mathematics. There you will have been taught the content, the curricular content in mathematics, and you will have been taught how to teach the subject. So when you ask a physics teacher, of course, a physics teacher, fine, since he or she is a user of mathematics, you could ask he or she to teach mathematics, but it is just part of the rot in the system, because the major problems with mathematics stems from three strands. The first strand is the school factor, and that is what you've just mentioned. Asking students, asking teachers that we are not trained along the mathematics education line to teach in the classroom. The other is the student factor. Of course, the students who might have issues on seriousness, buying the societal means that maths is difficult, and the third is the administrative factor, where you have dilapidated classroom, no instructional materials, and so on, and so forth, right? So you find out that it is a very, very big problem we are having, both at the teacher's end, the student's end, and the administrative end. It is not too good for someone that does not have a degree in mathematics, or at least an NC in mathematics, to teach the subjects.
Okay, before we go into the second part of the show, let's look at the availability of instructional materials or teaching aids, as you may have it. For mathematics, there are required teaching aids, and the fact that you can as well improvise.
Yeah, you can.
These things may not be available in some of the public schools to start with. Yeah. Again, I heard that mathematics at least should have a special room or laboratory where it will be properly treated. Let's begin with the availability of teaching aids in Nigerian schools. What do you say about this?
When we even lack classes. So what do you talk about teaching aids? We lack classes. Now, let me come in from the national policy on education. Let me just, so that, let me start from general to answer your specific question. What is the teacher-to-student ratio at the pre-primary level? It is 1 to 20. A teacher is not supposed to handle more than 20 students in a class. And in fact, it is not even a teacher, it is a teacher and a helper. So it is just like 1:10. Do we have that? No. Then let's go to the primary section. At the primary level, you are not supposed to handle more than 35 students in a class as a teacher. This is not, I am not making up these stats. If you check the National Policy on Education, a government document, you're going to see it there. How about the secondary school? You're not supposed to have more than 40 students in a class. In fact, it is a much more sorry and pitiable condition at the vocational and technical institutions, because you are not supposed to have more than 20 students in a class, right? These are public government documents. So let's come to mathematics. Mathematics is an abstract subject. It is not a difficult subject. It is an abstract. We all think abstractly, right? If I'm telling you that there's someone coming to meet me here from probably Maryland, in your head you could think, oh, in 30 minutes this person should be here, right?
Yes.
Abstract thought processes. That is why I said at GSS3 you could terminate your formal schooling and go into trade, because if you check the mathematics syllabus or curriculum, you will have been fortified to think abstractly because you need it, to manipulate because you are going to need it. And if you are going to the secondary school, it will have fortified you, giving you the foundation to proceed to secondary school. Let me quickly chip something in, just as an aside.
Okay.
People talk about mathematics, they don't talk about further maths. It is a time bomb. So many future academic freedom, educational freedom of students is being jeopardized under the cliche of, oh, further maths. You find school owners, crossing further maths is maybe agric or so, downgrading its importance.
Before we go on, I'd like you to make your comment on the issue of availability of teaching aids in schools. If teaching aids are not available, can mathematics lesson go on in the class?
Okay, since you've insisted on that, let me address that in a minute. When you say teaching aids, at the primary level, it is greatly emphasized. You must emphasize teaching aids,
Okay.
right? Because if you study the Piaget theory of intellectual development,
Alright.
it has 4 stages. So the sensory motor stage, of course, up to the formal operational stage, right? So at the primary school level, the students or children are still within the sensory motor stage. Of course, the pre-operational. Then, so there you have to emphasize the use of teaching aids. But as you progress, as it gets into the formal operational stage, right, you have to de-emphasize the use of teaching aids because the curriculum has advanced. They've been taking algebra throughout their GSS days. So when you get to secondary school, you should use teaching aids, but it has to be reduced because they are supposed to be dealing with much more abstract concepts.
Alright.
So we lack teaching aids. Of course, because most of the teaching aids we need in mathematics are models. Unlike in biology where you could use the charts, most of the things we use in mathematics, we need in mathematics are models.
All right, before we go on a quick break, let me understand what you mean by mathematics is simple. Is it simple?
Mathematics is simple. Mathematics is interesting. Mathematics is fascinating.
Are you saying this because you are from the field of mathematics?
If it was not simple, I won't be here. I don't think anyone would want to go into a complex...
Okay, is there anything like there are people born to be mathematicians? Do you believe in that?
Well, probably there's a research that backs that up, but I'm not aware of that. But all I can say is as a mathematician, you need discipline. If you are disciplined enough to sit down and solve at least 10 problems in a day, you are disciplined enough to sit down and work, solve problems, sit in the library, comb literature, you would be fascinated at the joy mathematics is going to bring to you.
All right, so when we come back after the short break,
Yeah.
we'll be talking about some of the factors militating against mathematics subjects in Nigerian schools. Please don't go away, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Still with me is Modu Olagoro. He is from University of Lagos, a PhD student and a teacher of mathematics.
Yeah.
We'll continue with our discussion, and this time we are going to be looking at the malpractices in Nigerian education system, especially when it comes to examination. Then, the record has it, or some people have said that during mathematics, in external examinations like the GCE, WAEC, and JAMB, there is constant heavy malpractices. Not only from the students, but from examiners, parents, and some other stakeholders around. Let's begin with the situation around external examinations.
It is one of the blights of our nation. The question you've just asked borders on, it is just a specific case of corruption that has, permeated every nook and cranny of the Nigerian state.
But is that assertion true that there is heavy mathematics malpractices in examination?
Of course. A whole lot of people will probably that benefit from the system will give you an answer that is to the contrary. But I can tell you, as someone that works in the field,
Okay.
at the primary, secondary, and presently at the university level, that there is a whole lot of corruption, examination malpractice. And that is why I do not believe, and let me repeat, I do not, you won't hear me quote the statistics from WAEC, that's the West African
You don't
examination.
believe in their statistics?
I do not believe in it because those statistics are dubious statistics.
Wow.
They do not have complete hold, right, control of the system. They rely on teachers of secondary
The
school.
people we have in these boards are experts.
They are experts, but it is just like INEC. Look at the tribunal is filled up. What if we had, okay, probably the government should just come up with a tribunal on exam malpractice, and you see, those guys just sit in WAEC. They can't be everywhere. There are over 600 secondary schools in Lagos State. Can WAEC match that? They use the same teachers as supervisors. They go there, they collect, most of them collect money from them, 1,000 naira, 5,000, and 12. Go, it is everywhere. Everyone knows this. We just pretend as if it does not exist.
What are the parents? What are the situation with the parents?
The parents are willing accomplices. A sizable number of the parents are willing accomplices. And that is what you see. It is a manifestation of the rot. We all shout at the political corruption in the system.
Yes.
The rot starts from even the primary school. It is the parents that even go, withdraw their children from public schools that, of course, might have some principals that are not cooperating.
Yes.
They take them to the private school where most of them, especially these mushroom private schools, have this machinery in place. In fact, they will have set aside money. When you just come as a supervisor, they give you, and they write for the students. That is what happens.
Have you ever supervised in any of these external examinations?
I've never supervised, but I've been a teacher for 2 years in a secondary school.
So from this teacher's angle, you're able to say that this happened, and you're able to say also that you don't believe in WAEC statistics.
In fact, one of the reasons why, let me say this on record, one of the reasons why I had to leave a private school where I worked after my NCE was because I said it was over my dead body that the student I taught, 40 periods, out of 40 periods in a week, I taught them for 21 periods, then you're asking me to come and teach them in the exam hall. That is foolishness on my part. This is far back as 2009.
Do you know any idea that the government of Nigeria can bring into place to see that mathematics is revived?
The government will not do it. Let me quickly respond to that. Government is not going to do it. If they were willing to do it, you won't find any of their children schooling overseas. It is a deliberate attempt, beyond mathematics now, it is a deliberate attempt to undereducate Nigerians. It is a deliberate attempt. It is a deliberate, why? It is a deliberate attempt. Look at the success story, the Warri girl also.
Yes.
Look at this school. You can't even put a pig there. It is a deliberate attempt. It is not difficult once you can establish that connection, that there's no way you can grow a system unless you grow the education sector. Right?
All right.
Then you will know that it is deliberate.
Right.
Let me just close by this. I work in a university in the Science and Technology Education Department in Unilag. My department is actually probably the largest in terms of population in the whole school. When you don't get into engineering, they ask you to come. When you don't get into medicine, they ask you to come. When you don't get into biochemistry, they ask you to come. So if there has never been an enlargement of the facilities, but we admitted over 800 students last session. How do you cope with that?
It's definitely going to be another time to have you on this show,
So
because this discussion hasn't ended. I know that sometime in future we're going to invite you, and you must be willing to come share more ideas about the Nigerian education system and the mathematics, survival of mathematics. So we are so glad to have you on this show, and thank you for coming within very short notice.
Yeah, it's a very lovely program. Yeah, kudos to you guys.
So go on Facebook. Usually, there must be an assignment. You have to share your idea about the state of Nigerian education system, then mathematics. That is, what would federal government of Nigeria do about the mathematics subject in Nigerian schools? Share your opinion on our Facebook, 4 Walls on Facebook. Go to Facebook, 4 Walls on Facebook. Thank you so much for being part of the program. Until I come your way next time, God bless you. Bye-bye.